Viewer discretion is advised.
In 1920, it became mandatory for every Indian child to attend a residential school and illegal for them to attend any other educational institution.
The government forcibly removed Aboriginal children from their homes and transported them to residential schools, often long distances away, to isolate them from their native culture.
The purpose of residential schools was to eliminate the Aboriginal culture. Students had their hair cut short, they were dressed in uniforms, and their days were strictly regimented by timetables.
Residential school students did not receive the same education as the general population in the public school system. Girls were taught to do laundry, sew, cook, and clean. Abuse at the school was widespread. Some had needles shoved in their tongues for speaking their native language.
Many students were fed poor quality. There were many occasions when students were provided moldy, maggot-infested, and rotten foods.
Sexual abuse was a very common form of punishment.
Students were punished for trying to keep ties with their families.
Stay tuned. Commercial break.
Hey, what you got there?
I got some salt and vinegar Lay's chips.
Oh, can I try them?
Yeah, I eat them with my friends.
I eat them on the couch.
I eat them by the Christmas tree. I eat them on the toilet.
I eat them in bed with a bowl on my head. I eat them in the shower.
And we even funnel them. And everywhere. Lay's all day, every day.
Viewer discretion is advised.
By the 1950s, it was clear that assimilation of the Indian culture was not working. Despite all the damage done in 1951 with the amendments to the Indian Act, the half-day work/school system was abandoned, and the government allowed Aboriginal children to live with their families as much as possible. The children slowly started attending public schools.
The last residential school did not close until 1996.
In 2007, the federal government formalized a $1.9 billion compensation package for those who were forced to attend residential schools. A former student of residential schools who has been abused sexually or physically can pursue a further claim. 75,800 cases had already been in action as of 2010. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you today to offer an apology to former students of Indian residential schools. The treatment of our children in Indian residential schools is a sad chapter in our history. It will be a positive step in forging a new relationship between Aboriginal peoples and other Canadians. A relationship based on the knowledge of our shared history and a respect for each other and a desire to move forward together with a renewed understanding that strong families, communities, and vibrant cultures and traditions will contribute to a stronger Canada for all of us.
The two primary objectives of the residential schools were to remove and isolate children from the influences of their homes, families, traditions, cultures, and to assimilate them into a dominant culture.
These objectives were based on the assumptions that Aboriginal cultures and spiritual beliefs were inferior and unequal. It is famously called to kill the Indian in the child.
Today we recognize that the policy of assimilation is wrong and caused great harm and has no place in our country.
Bloopers!
Mr. Speaker, I stand before you today to offer an apology. Why are you laughing? A former student of residential schools who had been abused sexually or physically can pursue a further claim. 75,800 cases had already
I eat them in the shower.